Thank you all for coming to the Call of Duty funeral. Today marks a sad day in the history of FPS games as we say goodbye to the greatest FPS franchise that we've seen in a long time. Hard to believe it's gone. Who could be calling me at this time? Hello? I'm a little busy. Oh, what do you mean? Wait, what? What do you mean we're not? Okay, calm down. I guess that means that we're not hosting a funeral this time. What's going on, guys? Hope you're all having a good day, and today is the day that Battlefield 6 is actually out and available to the public. I hope everyone's having an absolute blast playing the game. If you're still, playing the game early in the morning, or whether you're getting off of work and trying to get the game open, but today is the day that I talk about the fact that Call of Duty finally caved in to the pressure of Battlefield, and the fact that we've been through the ringer with this entire release series for Battlefield and Call of Duty this year. I can't believe it took Battlefield to come out with a proper game that it finally allowed Call of Duty to change what we wanted it to be this entire time. If you're living underneath a rock or you just don't really have much social media presence, it seems like Call of Duty is finally getting rid of skill-based matchmaking. They're keeping the reduced skill-based matchmaking in the full release of Black Ops 7, and on top of that, they're going to be allowing of the disbanding lobbies to be going away as well. We're finally having persistent lobbies and reduced skill-based matchmaking, which is what we've been asking for almost 5 to 6 years since MW 2019. It's absolutely crazy that it took proper competition from a game and proper hype for Call of Duty to get its shit together, basically. How many creators and how many people have been yelling at the top of their lungs all this time that we don't want these type of systems in an FPS game like Call of Duty, like Battlefield. All these games that decided to run with this matchmaking system have been claiming to us that it helps with retention, it helps keep people engaged with the game, when for whatever reason, whenever you check any of these games that have this matchmaking system in it, all of their players seem to just drop off the face of the earth after a while. Call of Duty's kind of kept itself afloat over the time, but there's definitely been a bleeding of players as the time has gone on. I made my little jokey, funeral procession type part of the intro, but I seriously, if they hadn't gone ahead and made the announcement that they were going to remove or reduce skill-based matchmaking and keep it in as the normal matchmaking system for Black Ops 7, I seriously think that Call of Duty probably would have saw itself dying this year. I just have to give a huge thanks to the fact that Battlefield is actually willing to come out with a proper, title this year and put the pressure on Call of Duty, because I know for a fact that if Battlefield didn't have the hype surrounding it like it did, then Call of Duty would have just stayed their course. They would have just kept the skill-based matchmaking in their game. They would have just kept this terrible system that just continually drives people away from the series over and over. It would have not happened. It wouldn't have happened at all. It's just the fact that it took all this time for them to continue to gaslight us and tell us that this system is good for the game. And then all it took was them to use the open or the reduced skill-based matchmaking for about a week to realize that people actually wanted that this entire time. It wasn't like it was rocket science. How many times were people yelling at them to remove this system, and they just continued to ignore us over and over? I'm not saying that because they've decided to do this. I'm not saying that because they've reduced the skill-based matchmaking or they've made it to where that's going to be the basic part of the game when it releases to go ahead and pre-order the game. I still say to proceed with caution with Call of Duty this year. I think that you should hold off on your pre-orders. I think you should hold off on purchasing the game until at least the first season, because we really don't even know what they're going to do once the game fully releases. That they could still pull the rug out from under us. They could still completely pull the wool over our eyes and just decide to backtrack everything that they've done so far. They seem to be on the good track. They seem to be making the right decisions. But how quickly can they withstand the suits from Activision before they realize that maybe, just maybe, they should have just kept that system in the first place and they just revert back to what it was? I implore you guys to go out there and find the blog post that they made. I'm not going to go over it in this video because there's already so many out there that are talking about it, but I do want to go over the fact that it's just crazy that we have to sit here and yell at this company for 5 years to get rid of this system and watch the series dwindle over time. Every single time they release a game, just watch the series go down the toilet bowl, and they just stubbornly sat there and not change anything when we're telling them it's like, hey, these are part of the root problems of why Call of Duty isn't fun anymore, and they just continue to ignore us. I don't know if they were just waiting for the new crowd of people to come into the game, but they weren't going to come into the game. They're too busy playing other stuff to play Call of Duty. And even if a new person comes in, it's really not hard to figure out that when you're playing that game, the matchmaking is just so manipulative. You can just tell that the game is completely rigging one side or the other. I still have clips from MW 2019 where I have to carry my entire team, dropping 30 to 40 plus kills in a team deathmatch game just to make something happen, just to win a game. It's just ridiculous that we've sat there and had to deal with this. And it was the same thing for Black Ops 7. The first couple of days of the beta were dreadful. I don't know why or what happened with the matchmaking system, but they really seemed like they cranked the ever-living shit out of skill-based matchmaking, and it was so unbearable. I don't know if it was because of the updated movement system, if you just had more people coming in to try it out, but it really was just super unbearable. And then once they released that open playlist, you just had complete rejoice. Everybody was enjoying themselves. The game felt so much better. The connection was 10 times better. The lobbies connecting was 10 times faster. It's just like, this is what we've been talking about the entire time. That's what people have been asking for. All you had to do was deliver it, and you were stubborn about it. And now that there's competition from a game like Battlefield 6, which is going to be absolutely crazy, and I'm sure I'm making this video now, but it's going to be out, and available by the time this goes up. But I guarantee that there's 10 times the amount of people on that game, at least on the PC platform, compared to what Call of Duty had. The game has been topping the charts for pre-orders for like 10 weeks in a row. I'm going to be sitting at work while everybody's jumping on the game, and I really hope that Battlefield launches into a proper state. I know the games are probably already going to be out, and there may be turmoil, but if there is turmoil, just realize that every Battlefield basically releases in some shambled way. The servers are bad, there's weird bugs happening all the time, but I really hope that the case, maybe I'm predicting that the game releases in a proper form. Now, a lot of people have had early access to it, but I feel like the servers are going to be slammed. There's going to be a ton of people trying to get into this game. Now, I want to stay on topic with the fact that I just want to sit here and thank Battlefield again, because they seriously wouldn't have done anything if Battlefield wasn't coming out this year. They would not have changed skill-based matchmaking. They would not have changed anything about Call of Duty. They would have stayed their course and continued to see their game just take a dump on itself every single time. And it's like they didn't have any other option. I mean, they just did whatever they want, because Battlefield 2042 flopped, Halo Infinite flopped, X-Defiant flopped. Every single other one of these FPS titles that was trying to draw away people from Call of Duty, they just kind of didn't care and did whatever they want, and then the games ended up dying out anyways because they really weren't even that great. Battlefield 2042 was probably one of the worst Battlefields that we've had in a while, and they fixed everything. They changed what they had to do, and so now they come out with a game that actually takes homage to their older games. It's basically Battlefield 3, 4, and Battlefield 1 and 5 all smashed together. The modern time of Battlefield 3 and 4 and the newer mechanics of Battlefield 1 and 5 and 2042 all smashed into one game, and it's absolutely fantastic. Everything works exactly how you would expect it to for a Battlefield game. It's not hard to see why the Battlefield 6 open beta had over 500,000 people playing it. It's because they actually released a crazy good FPS game, and it just completely scared Call of Duty shitless. Like, no matter what they release, I don't care if the game was probably like the newest, best thing that they could possibly do. People want something new. They wanted a new formula. It's the fact that Battlefield is that new formula, and Call of Duty's just done the same thing that they've always done for the past, 5-6 years? It's been the same game for the entire time. I would highly recommend that you guys do not pre-order Call of Duty just because they've reduced the skill-based matchmaking and they're putting it into the full game. I implore you to try to stay on your ground and wait for the game to be out for at least a couple weeks or at least the first season before you actually decide to get into it. There's no reason to pre-order the game. That's all they care about is those pre-order numbers. That's all they want. And if you give that to them, I mean, you're just fueling the fire into, the next game where they can just decide to do whatever they want. Anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope everyone is enjoying the Battlefield 6 release, and just let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Call of Duty was actually going to change anything if Battlefield wasn't coming out this year? I'm really curious what you guys think. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell notification if you want to see my new videos, and yeah, see you guys later. Bye.